Welcome to Out of the Mouth of Babes, the podcast for our future leaders. Today, we have a very special guest in the house, Miss Claudia Edwards. Claudia is running for Richmond Common Council at large, one of the Democratic candidates. There are three of them, and we've met all of them within the last couple days. But before we start, let's let these students introduce themselves and what they're involved in. Then Claudia is going to give her bio to all of us. So starting off.
My name is Kevin Jr. I'm a 12th grader at Richmond High School. I wrestle, play football. I'm part of the RHS Green Club and the Wayne County Riders.
My name is Kira Hanley. I'm a junior at Richmond High School, part of the Richmond basketball team, the golf team, Wayne County Riders, the RDMs at Richmond, and the Radiate Bible Study Group.
Just all on you, Claudia. Who are you? We see you everywhere. We see your name. Everywhere we go, there's a Claudia sighting. Talk to us a little bit about you.
Thank you for having me here this morning. What a pleasure to be here with you guys and with these young students who are very bright. My name is Claudia Edwards, and I am running for Richmond City Council at large. I'm very excited to have this opportunity to represent our community. And a little bit about me, I'm originally from Peru, South America. I grew up on the coast surfing, and I went to a Catholic school with nuns, only girls, and grew up in a military family. And so it was very structured, to say the least, but I believe that was a part of my foundation, and I owe my work ethic to that and to my grandfather, who was a big military personality in Peru. His father was also military, but they gave us that strong foundation and the strong work ethic. I have been in the U.S. for 25 years now. I had the opportunity to, and worked very hard for my citizenship, and it was a very long process. It was also very costly, but I'm glad and proud that I am a U.S. citizen, and I'm very involved with our country, and in my community. I believe that what we can do for our country begins within our community. I am a mom. My son graduated a couple of years ago from Seton Catholic High School, and he is 18 now. He started his second year at Trine University. He studies engineering and physics there, and he's doing wonderfully. I have two brothers who we are very close with. We did a lot of sports growing up. We're very health, fitness oriented, very family, community oriented. And that's part of the reason why I get involved so much anywhere I live, right? I've been in Richmond, in Indiana for the last approximately 20 years. And ever since I became involved with the community, I'm a graduate from IU East. I was a non-traditional student, which means that you're an adult and you already have some work experience. You have, at the time I was a single mom, and it was a struggle because I had no family in Indiana. So I was going to school and working and raising a little boy. But I wouldn't change that for the world. I believe that was also what gave me some of the strength to work and to move on. And I had a little life to raise and support and do for. So I graduated with a degree in psychology and criminal justice. And what inspired me to get a degree in psychology and criminal justice was working with children. And the mental health aspect of children's life and the way that impacts their development and their future. So I enjoyed a lot going through my degree at IU East. And since then, and before then, regarding my work experience, I began working on an assembly line at Calvin Klein in the East Coast. And we made perfumes. So we bottled, boxed, and did the whole assembly part of the job. And so quickly I was promoted to supervisor assistant. And when I first started the job, I didn't speak the language. So within 9 months, I was already having fluent conversations, and I believe I proved myself, reason why they gave me an opportunity to, show other skills and gain other skills. And then shortly after that, I was promoted again to manage a billion-dollar client, which was Menon, a Fortune 500 client in the East Coast. And I did manage 150 employees at the time. I was still very young. And so I have since then worked in a variety of fields. And my most recent work is in the nonprofit sector. I volunteer in our community through different nonprofit organizations. And I help with anything that I have skills on, like graphic design, or even hands-on volunteer time. So I go to Gateway or to Gleaners, food distribution, and we package food, and we spend a couple of hours there, waiting in line for people to come through, and we provide them with food, and it's a really good experience. I work during that time with so many individuals of our community who get there on time, and they're happy and they're excited and to get their work done and to help those in need in Richmond and beyond. And so I have, now that my son is in college, I have more time for myself. And so I decided that I wanted to continue to give back to the community. And this time it's just going to be in a different role. I want to give a voice to those that are not able to share their experience or their needs with the local administration. I want to kind of bridge the gap between the local administration and the community through communication and collaboration. And with my budget management and development experience, I hope that I can contribute to the current budget job responsibility for City Council at large. So I'm very excited to be here, and that's a little bit about me. And I know that the resume is pretty lengthy, but if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Kevin, Kiera?
Okay, so my first question is, if elected, how will you use your new status to advocate for affordable housing in Richmond?
So, well, first of all, I think that City Council or any other local government position is not so much as a status. I want to make sure that people look at it as a public service position. And when we agree or make the decision to run as a candidate for a public office, that we know that we are committed to serve our community, not just as a job or not just as a status or just as a position. So we're here to serve. And that's something that I have been doing for years through the nonprofit sector and volunteering work. As far as housing goes, it's something that I have been doing research on. I know that our community is facing a challenge with housing. We need more accessibility. We need more opportunities for housing. And one of the things that I've learned through my time doing the research on the budget for the city and working with within the community is that within our budget, we have actual dollars that are earmarked for demolition for some of the blight that we have in our community. So I would like to see some of those dollars invested in rehabilitating some of those buildings. So it would take some sort of an assessment to see and identify which buildings are able to be rehabilitated, and then partnering with local businesses to see through the rehabilitation process and project. And so I believe that utilizing those earmarked dollars for demolition and investing in the rehabilitation of some of these buildings, we could not only create housing, but we can also create revenue for our city through the tax dollars that the properties would create. So it's a very win-win situation for the economy of our city, and also for the families, whether are young families that can't afford it, or young professionals, or even individuals who are trying to for the first time work and get on their feet. So I think that this would be a great project, and I'm excited to, and I hope that we can see it happen.
Okay, to piggyback off his last question with affordable housing, how do you plan to improve public transportation and reduce traffic congestion?
So I'm glad you asked that question. We actually, or I say we because we're trained when you work in the nonprofit world that you're a team, and we are a team. But personally, I just went through a couple of weeks ago. I did a kind of a project for myself. So it was kind of like a social experiment. I was fasting for about 13 or 14 hours. So I hadn't eaten since the day before, and in the afternoon I walked to, first I wanted to find out how the transportation bus worked, and the city bus worked. So what I did was I called to see where do I go buy tickets or a bus pass. So I figured out where I went. It was in the city clerk and in the administration building. So what I did was I fasted for about 13 or 14 hours and walked to the city building, navigated through the building to find the city clerk, and asked, where do I get tickets? How does that work? How much does it cost? And so I ended up buying a couple of tickets and what I had planned was buying a pass and maybe giving it away to someone. But I learned a great deal through this process. I wanted to put myself in the shoes of the individuals who most of the time are using these buses. A lot of times, they're homeless individuals, or they are going through some sort of financial struggle. And a lot of times these individuals don't have the opportunity to eat throughout the day because they're running around, whether it's because they don't have the funds to do so, or because they don't have the time. They're trying to survive, right? They're struggling. So I wanted to put myself in their shoes. And so that's why I fasted and walked to the city building. Through the conversation with the city clerk, in the city clerk's office, they were very helpful there. They had a map that they provided me with. They explained to me the routes, and then they gave me prices on the monthly passes and then the individual tickets. I learned that you have to put your name on the pass. So I was not able to buy the pass because I wouldn't use it. So I didn't want to, my plan was to give it away, and I wasn't able to do that. So I got a couple of tickets. I learned that they also have a map or instructions in Spanish, because we do have a large Hispanic population in Richmond. So I was glad to see that they went the extra mile and made an effort to serve other constituents of Richmond who speak Spanish. And one of the things that I would do that I learned throughout this process was they are short on drivers. And because of that, they've had to cut a couple of routes. So they took away some of the roads that they normally drive by because they don't have enough drivers. So what I am doing now personally is I'm still researching, because we want to have strategic plan that is going to be effective. So we need to spend time to find the right ways to accomplish what we want to see. So we need more drivers. It takes a CDL driving certification. So we have to make sure that we find out where that's being offered, how much that costs, and then try to recruit some drivers so that we can expand the routes, not only to the point where it was before, but go beyond and reach out more of the area of our city, and then hopefully expand the hours is what I would like to see. A lot of the schedule that we offer right now for public transportation happens during office hours. Well, during that time, people are working. And so I would like to see transportation happen before that and then after. Individuals want to get off work and sometimes need to go grocery shopping or on the weekends. And so we want to make sure that they have access to our public transportation after they get out of work. So those are some of the things that I would personally try to work on and try to implement with the city of Richmond. And of course, we can't do it without the approval of, and the vote of all the council teams. So I would love to get the support from them and collaborate with them and to see all of these projects get to completion so that we can serve our community better.
Nice. Okay, my next question is, what steps will you take to promote sustainable and environmentally friendly practices within our city?
So sustainability and the environment are something very dear to my heart. Through my time in arts and even just growing up, I became very interested in the environment and the carbon footprint that we create through our daily lives, whether it's through the use of electricity, driving our vehicles, and so forth. So I remember being younger and going throughout the house and turning all the lights off because I knew that not only was that costly, but also, that creates the carbon footprint that will affect our environment, in years to come and the generations to come. And now we're at that point where we have to be hands-on and direct and do something about protecting our environment. So I have been advocating for that. I did an art show a few years ago that was at the McDowell Hall and at the Reed Hospital, and it was called Pachamama, Healing in Nature. Pachamama is Quechua for Mother Earth, and healing in nature because I believe that Mother Earth and nature heals us and provides us with everything that we need to sustain ourselves. All of our food, the earth, the grounds, it's have healing properties, and including the food that we consume can be healing or it can hurt us. So we want to try to be cognizant of how we treat the environment, how we treat the soil, how much we work the soil, because everything, all of these are natural, limited resources, and we have to keep those things in mind. Right now, Richmond has a great cardboard recycling program that has been a huge success, and I am proud to be a part of or a participant of that program. As soon as that came out, I knew that I wanted to be a part of that. With shopping and the way that shopping has changed so drastically lately, everybody's shopping online. So now we get a lot of boxes, right? We order from either Amazon or any other online stores, and we get everything we order, sometimes even double or triple boxed. So we're creating so much waste that it was, truly a no-brainer for Richmond to get on board and take care of our city better. The landfill has probably around 30 years left. So we need to start thinking about what are we going to do when the life of the landfill expires? How are we going to continue to consume and transport all the waste that we create to the landfill? And so by thinking of ways in which we can reduce our waste, that would lengthen the life of the landfill. So I know that I'm running with a wonderful slate of candidates on the Democratic ticket. Ronit Nair is a huge supporter of the environment, and we've talked about this before. And Mayor Snow has also been a huge proponent to come up with other projects that would help lengthen the life of the landfill. So it is definitely on my list of things that we need to be addressing.
All right, Kiara, we have about a couple of more questions for you. Kiara, you're up. You got the last two.
The last two questions?
Yes.
Okay. How will you support local businesses and encourage economic growth in our community?
So one of the things that we have all been doing, not just me, in our community, especially that came and was born from the pandemic, is that we knew that restaurants would be hurt by that because we couldn't go out. There was the food contamination concern. And so we knew that we had to do everything that we could to address that concern and to help and support local businesses. So, we were one of those families that were ordering takeout almost on their daily basis for dinner and lunch from different businesses. And that's something that, was happening before that. But I believe that it's increased, the support has increased and grown, and now it's carried out, beyond the pandemic. I shop local. I have a lot of public meetings, so I make sure that I do my tour around the city and I visit all the restaurants. I'm an advocate for local business owners, so I make sure that I create referrals and I talk to friends that are coming into town to visit, or if somebody says, I have a mom friend that says I need shoes for my kids. We have Edsmond shoes. What are some ways that we don't only just, reach in our pockets to give, but we need to promote each other. We need to promote the businesses that we have in Richmond. We need to support the individuals who are behind the economic growth of our city, because all of these businesses are tax-paying businesses, so they support us as well. So we have to have that collaboration and work together to help with that economic growth. And then personally, I have been working in the last year on opening up a cultural center for the arts here, hopefully in downtown, which would have, in addition to art classes, a gallery, but it's also going to be a destination. And I want to bring artists from outside of Indiana so that we can put Richmond on the map, because they have their connections and their constituents. So they will begin talking about Richmond, and they would hopefully bring people into our city, which also translates into more spending coming into our city. And so it is going to be a personal investment of mine, and I have the business plan completed. Now we're in the phase of working on the building and such. But as a city council person, what I would do is try to diversify the businesses that we bring into town so that we can create jobs and we can diversify our economic growth.
Okay, last question. Can you explain your stance on promoting diversity, inclusion, and equality within our community?
That's something also that I'm very passionate about. I'm Hispanic heritage. I have my family's literally all over the world. Out of all the places that I could live, Greece, Switzerland, Spain, South America, I chose Richmond, and I'm proud of our community and the work that we do here and our people as well. So I have that experience through travel and through my family. I think that's important for a long number of reasons. It strengthens our economic growth and expands the economic growth. It helps the businesses grow from within because we have different perspectives and different ways of seeing the way we work, and we bring different skills and experiences. And so I think that that's very important for our city's growth to have diversity. And so I think that, through my family and the people that I know, even within the U.S. and the East and West Coast, I promote the cost of living here and the quality of life that we hear with the arts and the low tax property taxes that we have in Richmond. So I tried to invite people to come and visit. I've had family come from France and from Peru and from different areas of the U.S., and they've come to love it. There's people buying land and properties now here. And so I think that by being a diverse community, which we are, but growing that diversity can make our Richmond better.
Well, thank you, Claudia. Thank you for spending your time with us this morning.
Absolutely.
Very insightful, as I've said. We've noticed that, you've been out and hitting the campaign trail. And election is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. One more day.
One more day. So what will you like to say as your last elevator speech to the people out there?
So I want to encourage everyone to get to the polls. I know that that's been, so many of us get frustrated or jaded with the way the political arena turns out to be. But I believe that should not take away from our civic duty and our civic engagement. It is our responsibility to continue to vote. I know that there are approximately 21,000 registered voters, and around 25% of them vote. Wow. So that margin is absolutely way too low. We need better representation. We need more individuals to get to the polls. And not so much, of course, I would like the support of our voters and constituents, and I would love to receive your votes. But I just want to emphasize the importance of civic duty and engagement. And so I want to ask everyone to get to the polls tomorrow. It does impact you, it does impact your family, and it does impact the quality of life and the future of your family in a variety of ways. So many people think that local elections are not as important, but they're the foundation of the way our country will develop. And so I cannot emphasize enough, please get to the polls, please exercise your right to vote. It is imperative that you get to the polls and vote.
Well, thank you, Claudia. This has been very enlightening for us. It's been very enlightening for the students. Thank you for coming to Out of the Mouth of Babes, the podcast for our future leaders. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you, and good luck.
Thank you.
And,
thank you for having me.
And if there's anything we can do to help, please let us know. Out of the Mouth of Babes, the podcast for our future leaders.